more years of people going to be watching us. That young, you know. We could be dead and gone. It's a weird thought, isn't it?
Why don't you go
Well, some of them are dead and gone.
and have a look around?
They are playing Snap in the background. Do you believe they're playing Snap?
Oh, God. Look at the Queen. There's a picture of the Queen up there.
Yeah, this is a real...
And a
that
tapestry.
location is a real old
is
people's
it?
home. Yeah.
She looks a bit nervous.
Must be a fairly grand building, actually. Look at those.
She's had the hairdresser in.
Really is a beautiful place. You'd certainly be doing the right thing. If
Oh, no,
you wasn't
don't,
I love that. Your
think they're-
mother.
Your mother, yes. Of
That's
course.
There's another one, crocheting. She does not know how to knit. Look at the mess she's making. And, you know, it's really funny because she's probably going through her lines at this very point,
Yes,
knowing that
indeed.
Sheila's coming up behind
Well,
her.
can you imagine what it would be like for an actor that's never been in the show before to come in
Yes.
and have to do a scene with one of the biggest stars in the show?
Yeah.
I guess they're probably, you know...
Oh, but she's very good. She's
Yeah,
very
she
good,
is
this
very good.
woman.
might be staying in a
And what a lot of people don't realise is it wasn't all hard work on Prisoner, was it? We actually got to do quite a few interesting things and a lot of festive stuff. They'd rope us into. Well, for instance, Channel 10 had the rights to put the Melbourne Cup to air, so we were always invited to the Melbourne Cup.
VIP
Yes.
treatment, limousines, champagne all the way, dressed by whoever you could get to dress you. And
That's right. Well, that's right. Yes, I do remember one of the actors actually returning a very nice piece to George's, and it had butter stains all down the front. But I shan't tell you who it
oh,
was.
it wasn't me.
It wasn't you. No, it wasn't you.
George Cross, you mean?
It was a George Gross
beautiful.
outfit. Yes, ruined blue silk it was, and it wasn't me either. It was someone who played a major character in Prisoner, though, but not a prisoner. I've leave you guessing.
I think I know.
Going to the races was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that. Oh, what about Moomba?
Oh, Val, don't remind me. They put us on, we had a whole prisoner float and we were on it. We got on it at like 6 o'clock in the morning.
The
it felt like.
morning, yes,
And we were
dawn.
still on it at
It was
midday.
stinking hot.
It was so hot.
And they hadn't started the parade, and we're there hours. They
Waiting to start the parade. We had
drinking
to be
all this
there.
soft drink because it's
And
so
of course,
hot.
Nature called with me because I've got a very small bladder.
Not only you, I was desperate to
were
go in.
all-
My legs were plaited.
So we found ourselves.
Madam says
parked.
to me, "I'm desperate for a pee," and I said, "You feel like peeing in a brothel?" She said, "What do you
I
mean?"
said, I don't care where it is, I just have to go.
What do you mean? I said, "See those big terrace houses across the road, right
That's
up on
what
the
street
top."
we were in?
We were in
Flinders?
Swanston Street.
Swanston Street.
I said, right up the top, so the girls, you can just barely see them sitting on the balcony up there. I said, "That's a brothel." "No, it's not," she said. I said, "Yeah, come on, tis." I said,
We got off the float.
Yeah, got off the float. Stepped in the middle of the road and said, "Hey, can we use your loo?" I whistled, remember,
You
made a
did.
huge whistle.
You did.
And this girl sort of peed, "Can we use your loo?"
And there was B. Smith and Chrissy Latham, who, of course, the
And we're in
girls knew.
costume.
We're in total costume. They were hysterical.
And you know, they opened the door about 2 inches and this
Yes.
little hand comes out and says, "Yes, come on." So we snuck in.
I've never, ever been in a brothel,
Well, nor have
obviously,
I.
in my life. It was fascinating. But weren't they lovely, those women?
Oh, they were. And they
They
took
were
us up to this
adorable.
very, very posh bathroom. And Amanda says to me, "Oh, I didn't know they had bathrooms." And I said, "Well, if I was going to screw them, I'd wash them first as well."
Every room had, you know, a little ensuite.
An incredible red velvet
And
curtains
pink
and
and-
flocked wallpaper.
Oh,
and
it was
really, or
hysterical.
early old Melbourne motor inn, I called the day.
And of course, I didn't want to go because being the part of a prostitute in prison, I thought I could glean a bit of info here, do a bit of research. And then before we knew it, the float was off and we had to dash back on. In fact, you and I were running by the side of it trying to get on it.
The girls were great, though. And I said, just as well there wasn't a journalist standing up the front saying, "What two prisoner fans were seen coming out of a brothel?" Which actually did happen on one occasion. But I've already spoken about that.
Oh, yes. A male, you mean? A male.
More than one, 3 of them.
Don't go there, Van.
No, don't go there. I already have. I've told that story.
On air? Cheeky.
She has a terrible fear of being sent to
Adrian Wright,
After being
good
caught
actor.
like that, she lashes out
What's
angrily.
happened to him? I haven't seen him.
Oh, no.
For
you see.
years.
Well, you know what it's like in this country. You have sort of success on a roster system.
A merry-go-round.
Yes. There she's a
love
good actress,
this
and of course
actress.
comes from a theatrical family.
Yes. She's got such intensity about her.
Yes, terrific. What's she doing now? Do you know?
She's still acting up in Sydney.
I know
yeah.
she lives in Sydney, and I think her daughter's acting too now. This young girl. That's terrifying, isn't it? I mean, my daughter, who played B. Smith's tragic daughter Debbie, is now 44.
With how many children?
Well, she has 2 children, and my other
You're a
daughter,
grandma,
and my
I
other
can't believe
daughter,
it.
I'm a grandmother 5 times, and my other daughter has 3 children.
I was brought up in the country too. Loved it.
We occasionally did personal appearances, things in stores and in shopping malls. And I don't know if you were there. The very, very first one we ever did was during the time we were filming the pantomime. This is when Rowena Wallace was in the show and immediately and buried us all in a tunnel afterwards. Anyway, we'd taken so long filming all this stuff, and we had a real audience of a whole lot of children. It was taking a long time to get them organised, and so and they're getting very anxious because we're supposed to do this personal appearance in our meal break. I'm here to tell you, and so we all had to go and do it in our costumes that we happened to be in at the moment. So there am I dressed as an ugly sister. And Colette Mann as and Colette Mann as Cinderella, and I can't remember what Sheila was. I don't think she was the prince. No, that was.
She would have been another ugly sister.
No. Betty Bobbitt was the other ugly sister. I think that she was, the widow Twanky or something. Yeah, doing this, we were not expecting
Fairy
this.
godmother?
The audience.
Fairy godmother.
That's right, she was the fairy godmother.
Yeah.
Of course, the audience weren't exactly expecting these people
They didn't recognise us.
No, they were expecting prisoner stars, not pantomime people. Yeah.
But the public interactions with the public were always crazy. You go into supermarkets to do your shopping, and people would just stop and stare at you and say, "What are you doing in a supermarket?"
And what are you doing eating?
What are you doing out? They literally believed you so much that you were in prison.
You had problems with the police, didn't you?
I did. What about when I gave birth to Elizabeth and the whole of Channel 10 was inundated with soft toys and babies' clothes, which we promptly gave to the, and flowers I got,
I'll come and see you again.
which we gave to the children's homes and hospitals.
Stuff, yeah.
But the police figure so much in my life. It's Christmas one year and I've been frantically going around doing all my Christmas shopping, and I've got both armfuls full of bags, and I see 2 cops coming towards me, and I didn't take much notice of them, and as they got to me, they separated, and each of them put an arm through my arm and lifted me off the ground and started walking me backwards, saying, "Latham, what are you doing out? We're taking you back to Wentworth." And of course, everybody in the street stopped, and it was fabulous. And then, of course, they attracted so much attention. I then had to stand there for half an hour and sign autographs.
It was a problem. If you stood still, people sort of immediately flocked towards you.
Yes, you could make them not come towards you, or if you were feeling good on a day, you could say, "It's me, it's definitely me," But there are days when you thought, "I've got so much to do, I can't be stopped today," and you can make them
You just
go
don't
away.
make eye contact.
Yeah.
You just sort of, if you don't make that contact, that visual contact with people, they don't.
They get scared about meeting you.
Also, but once you look at them, they take us the invitation
Yes.
to approach you.
But the funniest story that ever happened was I was doing a show in Canberra, and I was driving home, and I was aware of this car by the side of me with 2 men in it looking at me. I thought, "Oh, I don't like this." So I locked all my windows and doors, got up to the next set of traffic lights, and suddenly a blue light came out on a plain car. I thought, "Oh, Christ, what have I done?" So they pulled me over. We got off the side of the road, and they said, "Are you?" I wound down my window. "Are you aware that your rear light isn't working?" I said, "No, I'm not. I'm awfully sorry." It was my little orange Honda Civic. Do you remember the Honda Civic? I've got another story to tell. Remember when I was late? Anyway, that's another story. And so they said license. So I got my license out, and they looked at it, and he took it to the mate and looked at my photo and looked at the name, and he came back. He said, "Get out of the car." So I said, "Yes." I got out of the car, and he said, "We have reason to believe that you are masquerading as somebody else. What is your real name?" I said, "Amanda Muggleton." "No, it isn't," they said. "You are Chrissy Latham, and you should be in Wentworth. You're nicked." Well, of course, I completely fell apart, laughing, and they had a laugh. They